With TSD Talks.
Hey everyone, we're seeing a new patient today. It's TSD Talks. TSD, how long have you been in? How long have you been in here for? Well, it says on my chart, you're here in this the Pillar of Garbage maternity wing because you clicked on a link on Twitter. You clicked on a Twitter link and now you're here.
Yeah, it was like the little the transference, you know, the travel transit. I'm not feeling great about that. I don't know how I got here. I just clicked a link, and it just sent me here. Can you even do that?
Yeah, I mean, you clicked on a link on Twitter, and now you're here in the maternity ward, and you're looking kind of like I don't want to characterize your body in a way you wouldn't be comfortable with, but you're looking kind of
I don't feel
swollen,
great. I don't feel great.
like around the middle.
No, does
it feel like there's a sort of pressure?
It does feel like there's a bit of pressure.
Yeah, a bit of pressure. Well, I mean, if you're in the maternity ward and you're feeling pressure, you should probably start pushing.
Oh my god!
Right? I mean, one could almost say you clicked on a link. You're here now. You've kind of been empregged by Elon Musk. Oh, hold on. Something's coming out. Keep going.
Yeah. Push.
Congratulations. It's a podcast. Hey, everyone. Welcome to episode 19 of the Pillar of Garbage podcast. As always, with my wonderful co-host, TSD Talks. TSD, how do you feel about that intro?
I'm here with my sick and twisted co-host from the Sick and Twisted Mind. The sick and twisted mind of Pillar and Garbage.
Podcast baby.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, hey, that's just a couple of minutes inside my sick and twisted mind.
Yeah, this is just to me, this is normal. You know, when Pillar goes to Little Caesars and he sees the crazy bread, he just thinks that's just normal bread.
This is regular bread. Yeah, I mean, welcome to the asylum I was raised in, man.
You wouldn't raise an hour. You wouldn't last an hour here.
You wouldn't last a fucking second. Yeah, but. So there's a lot going on at the moment. Today we're recording this on the day that apparently Donald Trump's kind of ill. He's kind of illness maxing.
Not
What's
the
that about?
day of. It was a couple days ago. He's got. Hold on, let me look up specifically what he's got.
But we are recording this the day after Jumbotron Day, right? That was yesterday.
I think so.
Or maybe it was yesterday for me. Probably 2 days ago for you.
Trump.
There's a lot going on. It's a busy period of world history.
The White House has announced that he was diagnosed with
got
chronic
ligma.
venous insufficiency, a quote unquote. Oh my god, sorry that my fucking ad blocker got in the way. A minor vein condition because people noticed that there was swelling in his legs. The White House press release is underlining that it's benign and common, but people are skeptical of that. So
Hey, here's the thing. It's common. Sure, I don't have it. You don't have it. Can't be that common.
Yeah, if
You know what I mean?
if I don't have it, then it can't be that common. Like,
because reality obviously orbits us.
Yeah. My lived experience is the only true lived experience in it. And everyone else is just like a automaton. There's actually a Magnus Archives episode about that where someone like. It's unclear if they're like experiencing a delusion or if like something is actually happening, but they start seeing a lot of people who like they can tell have no interiority to them. Like they don't have like and that's just
I call
what
them
life
NPCs.
is like. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's just life for me every day, bro.
Yeah. But yeah, there's a lot going on. One thing that went on recently, we're not fucking around today. We're not spinning our wheels in the intro.
No, we're not.
We're not wasting your time. We're not wasting our time. We all know what we're here to talk about. Fucking Superman movie went out.
You saw the title. You saw the thumbnail. There's a
Yes.
new superhero movie in town, and let me tell you, woke garbage.
Pogservation time. This movie, hey, it's kind of political, and that's Superman that's kind of anathema to Superman.
Yeah.
Superman should be about truth, justice, in the American way, and there's nothing political about America, ladies and gentlemen. It was the 4th of July the other week. Come on.
That's true.
Where are all
That's
the
true.
fireworks gone? You can't do anything anymore without the woke police making you watch a Superman movie. Jesus Christ.
They're forcing you to watch the Superman movie, and then immediately
Immediately
they're
making
forcing
you do an Mpreg Elon Musk
yeah.
improv intro.
I'm a victim of the woke mob. But yeah, no. I don't know about you, Pillar. I was a big fan of this movie.
I was a huge fan.
Yeah. It's not a perfect movie. I'm not going to come out here and say it's a perfect movie, but like it's probably the best superhero movie I've seen in quite a while. Like I'm trying to think
Honestly,
about
we like to soften our opinions by saying stuff like it's not a perfect movie.
Yeah.
Like giving a bit of leeway to the viewer who didn't have the same experience. But I'm just going to say it. Hey, no complaints from me, I don't have any complaints.
like Mike,
I'm saying, hey, James Gunn, carry on. Keep doing what you're doing. That's just fine.
Like for me, I have criticisms, but those are different from complaints. Like my criticisms aren't things that that bother me about the movie, if that makes sense,
Well, why don't we take a mosey on down toward a little bit of a deeper look at this movie, which we do in our new segment, Movie Time with the Pogcast.
Movie time.
Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby.
Pogcast movie time.
I like how we've kind of just introduced a new segment every episode at this rate.
Because that's what sustainable podcast hosts do.
Yeah, and like Pillar's like just working because Pillar's just made so many stingers. He has to get them all sold by the end of the month.
You don't understand it. I like clock out of like a full like day and a half shift in the video mines, and then I like clock right into the music mines. I'm just mining. I'm kind of like a GPU.
Yeah, I'm
kind of like a Minecraft Steve chicken jockey.
Yeah. But speaking of which, this movie has done incredibly well, by the way.
What, financially?
Financially, yeah. This is the biggest opening for a Superman movie ever, I'm pretty sure. It's like it's that, or it's one of the biggest, which, it's better than Man of Steel.
I'm seeing a lot of FUD online. Like I there's some people saying it's doing great, some people doing it's not very well. A lot of the latter camp is obviously just going to be like fucking Snyder drones, Snyder NPCs. They're not real. Their lived experience is not real. Mine is. I'm the center of the universe. Wake up, people. But it's like, even if it seems like it's doing pretty good, and even if it doesn't do like fucking Avengers Endgame numbers, like obviously. It's a good movie. It's being recognized as a good movie. I think the fucking corporate fucking drones, the corporate ghouls, if you will, of DC, will like give Gunn a bit of leeway to get his project off the ground. I think we can be confident in that.
Yeah, like I'm pretty sure. This, correct me if I'm wrong. David Zaslav, famed normal person, famed great guy. He put out a statement being like, I'm so proud of all the work we've done to bring Superman to the screen, because David Zaslav, he's a screenwriter, writer, director.
Well, you
actor,
don't understand
composer.
it. Like, you don't see it from the front facing kind of thing. But he's putting his shift in the cinema mines. I see him because I'm going down to like the mine kind of central like kind of hub.
He's just like you and me.
Mines.
He's just like you and me.
He's just like us for real.
But yeah, it's like, honestly, like being real. I'm not a fan of like the Snyder take on Superman. Like I don't think you are either. But it's not like you've made 3 videos about it or anything.
No.
But I do have respect for the fact that he, specifically as like a person, has seemingly been pretty supportive of this new take, which is really cool.
Yeah. I mean, like, hey, we can all spend, years in a kind of circle mocking and belittling his artistic merit. Hey, I'll be there. But he seems like an alright guy. Wouldn't want to suggest otherwise.
Yeah, like I watched Man of Steel for the first time this year, after years of like hearing about it, and like as a movie, it's like fine,
Yeah, it's all right.
Like
it's a good watch.
it's all like it's fine. Like it's fairly well shot. It's like got decent writing. It's not very Superman though, is the thing.
Yeah.
But this, on the other hand, like I watched this and like I felt that, like a common thing I've heard about this movie is people saying like this is like a comic book brought to life, like. And this is the first time I've watched a movie where, because I've heard that used described other movies before, but this is the first time I've watched a movie and like I've felt that, like this movie just fully just like expects you to like just be like, not like, we're not going to do like the origin story thing. We're not going to explain how, this universe like first discovered aliens or superhumans. Like this is just a world, like a comic book world with like,
this is a world that exists and you're being brought into it.
Yeah. Like, this is not your world. This is the DC world. And it's got gods and monsters in it all the time. And I like that a lot because that's something that like the Suicide Squad did. That's something that Peacemaker did. That's something that Creature Commandos did. It's something that like it's the Guardians of the Galaxy movies did pretty well as well, which is interesting because the Marvel Cinematic Universe was not really built to be a universe like that.
No. It was a very slow ramp up.
Gunn just got around that by being like, yeah, well, we're in space, so it's already weird out here.
Yeah,
so.
I mean, he didn't treat the audience like they're idiots. Like, I went to see Superman with my girlfriend, and also, like, so my kind of life situation at the moment, following up from last podcast, I'm staying with my girlfriend's parents. We're kind of house sitting for them, dog sitting, even at the moment. So, like,
we'll get to dogs later.
So I was like, yeah, we'll get to dogs later. But I was like, hey, we don't have a car. We want to see this movie. I'll ring my mum up. We'll go. I'll go and see Superman with my girlfriend and my mum. Which also, she gave us a lift. Gave me a good perspective on how this movie works on a variety of audiences. Because my partner has kind of a general idea of like how superhero movies tend to work in the tropes and all that kind of thing. And my mum is very much a general cinema sort of goer. Like both of these are coming into the thing. No idea who a Green Lantern is, to varying levels of familiarity with the kind of, I guess, architecture of it beyond that. And you would sort of worry if you're one of us, one of the fucking weirdos, one of the online comic book freaks, that the normies wouldn't be able to understand this kind of, they're built different. They're not like us. They don't understand the worlds can exist with strange pre-existing sort of laws and superhumans. And they're going to be kind of befuddled by it. But it's kind of like, no, hey, it's a well-constructed film. It kind of, because it is a world that exists, right? It's a world that exists with these factions and stuff in it already. But like, there is, very, very consciously a kind of specific introduction when we get to meet, like, the Justice Gang, for instance. And, like, we're introduced to the fictional nations and such. And the film definitely, I can say from my limited anecdotal perspective, which is obviously completely applicable to the public at large.
Right, yeah.
Because, again, I'm the center of the universe. The film, it does a really good job of like piercing open its world and letting the general audience into it. I think there were no like nudges to me like, hey, pillar of garbage, real name redacted. What's going on here? What the fuck am I looking at? It was like, oh, okay, so this is just a movie. We're being introduced to characters which have a level of heightenedness, but that's fine because the film is communicating it to me.
Yeah, I think that like fans of like worlds of media like this, of like comics, of movies, tend to
they kind of sniff their own farts a little bit.
Yeah, like tend to like assume that the average person isn't as capable of understanding as like they are, just because they don't know those things. Because like the way I look at it is that, sure, the average person who goes in to watch this movie probably isn't going to know who fucking Guy Gardner is. Like he's like they're probably going to have like
good for them.
Yeah. Good riddance. Like people are almost definitely not gonna know who like Mr. Terrific is, or like they're probably not they might know who Lex Luthor is, but that's probably because he's in like the 78 movie. Like, it's like people will know Superman and Clark Kent, and they'll know his general backstory, and they'll know like Lois Lane, and honestly, you don't even really need that to fully understand this. Like as long as you get the general idea of like what they're going for, like, okay, he's an alien. He's not from like people understand aliens.
Well, honestly, you say people, that.
Yeah.
My partner didn't even realize that Superman was an alien.
Oh yeah.
And she was like at the end, "Hey, is that always the deal with Superman?" I was like, "Oh yeah, he's from Krypton,
But like
He's
you get
he's from Krypton,
you get
he's
it in the
son of
movie.
Krypton.
Like it's
Come
like,
on,
it's
yeah,
like,
exactly. And that's what I mean.
it's like people generally know, like, obviously, like this movie is helped by the fact that like Superman is like the most famous comic book character of all time. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, but even so, it's coming after like a 15-year domination period from Marvel, where
Right.
there are generations of cinema goers who probably haven't watched a Superman movie, and this is a great second or third or fourth Superman movie, but it's also a great first Superman movie, I think.
Yeah, it's like people generally like get it. Like people like the way I think about it is that like people watched like they watched Alien back in the day without any kind of like background knowledge of what that world's like.
They
Like,
hadn't seen Prometheus.
Yeah, they hadn't seen
understood.
Prometheus. But people can be dropped into a world that they don't understand and like figure it out pretty quickly, especially when there's a fucking like Star Wars Flash Gordon like wall of text at the beginning being like, hey, this is a world with superheroes and metahumans. Clark is from another planet. He just got beat up like 3 minutes ago. And that's like all you really need to be dropped into it. And I really liked that.
Yeah.
I think that particularly like studio heads tend to assume that the lowest common denominator is a lot dumber than they actually are.
Yeah, I mean, studio heads think like you have to be a CEO to have a functioning brain.
Yeah, essentially.
We should kill them all. We should melt them. We should put them in the device that melts your bones to slurry.
But I guess this is all a very long-winded way of saying that I like that this is a movie that does not treat the audience like they don't know what they're talking about. Like people know, and like people have enough cultural osmosis that they can like generally find their way in, and that way this movie is able to just get into what it wants to do like right away.
Yeah, there's no wasted time.
They can't really afford to waste time at all in this movie.
Yeah,
this is a very fast-paced movie.
It's a very fast-paced movie. It's a very busy movie. But honestly, watching it, I got the feeling I got with Guardians 3, which was basically, yeah, okay, I get what you're going for. I'm going along for the ride with you. Hey, thanks for the ride, Mr. Gunn. I didn't, like I said before, I didn't really have any issues with it. So I'd be interested to hear what your kind of critiques were, what your kind of notes were.
I think I'll start with my critiques because I'm mostly very positive about this. So, my large critiques are kind of just that it is a little bit busy, and I feel like that can be off-putting to some people. It wasn't to me, but I got the impression like watching this, like someone could watch this and start to get tired about like halfway through of like, oh, okay.
Yeah, are we doing spoilers, by the way?
I think we'll do minor, like I'm going to do minor spoilers.
There's a point where you're in a strange environment and Superman is kind of, let's say he's in a river. Right, that means nothing if you haven't seen the film, but if you have seen it, you know which bit we're talking about. That's kind of the kind of apex of the busyness. At which point it's like, okay, this is maybe verging on a little much. Is that kind of what you're thinking of?
I'm thinking about that, and also just the fact that this movie does throw a lot at you, so like it can be a little bit tiring to keep track of everything that's happening. I feel like the movie runs in a way where like it's very easy to like it like very deliberately like groups things together in a way that it's easier to follow them. So there's a lot of individual things that happen, but there's only like 2 or 3 like actual plot lines.
Through lines, yeah, exactly.
And the only other criticism like this, and I feel like this is actually probably like a more of a legitimate criticism, is that I feel like some of the dialogue in this is a little bit like heavy-handed, like expository. Like there's a couple of like, as you know, Jeffs in this, which I thought were like it was not enough to bother me, but I did catch it. And that and I also am willing to be lenient about that because of how much this movie has to like throw at the audience for them to understand.
Yeah. I didn't even really pick up on those. I guess maybe because I was sort of watching it with that one part of my brain thinking, okay, what are these two kind of super newbies next to me going to think about this?
Yeah. But yeah, it's kind of like a thing of like, even the things that I don't really think always work, I think still would work for another person and, work for a different goal. And I just really, I also feel like the quirks in this are quirks of it being made by like a human director and not like quirks from like a studio head's notes.
I feel what you're going for there. I hadn't even had that thought before, but like, yeah, cosign that fucking shit. Pillar of Garbage signature.
Yeah. And while we're talking like pre-spoiler stuff, I did have some worries about this movie going in that were like completely like I felt like were like in retrospect weren't as founded as I thought they were, but like I feel like I felt were reasonable in the moment to worry about. Like the main thing I was worried about is that like I was worried about how James Gunn specifically would tackle a character like Superman, because like I like James Gunn a lot, but he is kind of characterized by his rough around the edges style, if that makes sense, you know?
Yeah.
Like normally his stuff is like very like can be very crass and you know, like there's a
it's a little bit edgy, like kind of self-consciously edgy, you know.
Yeah.
There's
like even his
Guardian
Guardian
stuff. It would be fair
stuff.
enough to worry about that style matching up with Superman.
And I think that the reason that this works is because he deliberately he doesn't try to do a James Gunn Superman movie. He tries to do his best version of a Superman movie based off of the comics he's read.
It is James Gunn trying to do a Superman movie. It's definitely not him trying to do a James Gunn Superman movie. And you can feel that it's James Gunn doing the Superman movie, and I think that's to its credit. And you can almost like there are almost micro moments of him sort of swerving away from it, where like Superman's saying like "Golly" or whatever, you know.
Yeah,
and
I love that. I like that Superman in this movie does never curses. Like that's such a little thing. Like I'm not saying I'm not saying.
And
like,
the musical side of it is also like a great tying in of the James Gunn style and kind of conversation to the Superman conversation, in that like music is always like one of Gunn's vocabularies for like characterization, and he does it here in like in a characteristically Gunn way, but also in a way that just like it fits Superman so well, but like in any other director's hands you wouldn't be having any of the kind of dialogue lines about the fucking, I don't know. I don't even know the bands in question. I don't have that knowledge of like, I don't know, 90s pop punk.
That's the thing, actually.
Or something.
That's the thing, Pillar. This is a fake band. They made it up for the movie. Is it? Yeah, that's
shit.
Not real.
Okay. Oh my god.
Which I thought it was real too, but then I looked it up. Apparently, they made it up for the movie, which is really interesting. I really liked that as an idea.
That's fun. Yeah.
It also because a lot of characters insult that band, so it probably makes sense they didn't want to insult a real band.
Well, it's interesting that like they're able to deploy a fake band and have it kind of confer the sort of characterization. You know, you're able to get a real sense of what this band, like what they stand for, and like you know,
they felt like a real band. Coolness
versus uncool, yeah. And how that plays into the Superman conversation. I guess they are really just a cipher for Superman himself in a sort of metatextual way.
Yeah, and
hey,
the other
everyone's
thing
over
that
this band Superman, don't be into this band Superman. But he's like, actually, I think the band are cool. I think
cool. that like the typical Gunn style comes out a lot more in the other superhero characters, like Guy Gardner and Mr. Terrific. Very much felt like James Gunn characters in this. And I think that the other thing I was a little bit worried about, but I think that Gunn handled very well, was that Gunn's style Gunn likes his like action choreography. He likes his like violence and stuff.
I thought the fights in this were great.
Yeah, and that's the thing, right? I thought that in this movie they did a really, really good job. I think that Gunn proved that he is a good action choreographer, or he's got good action choreographers working for him, and it's not just like the violence factor or the gross factor that works out in like the Suicide Squad or Peacemaker, or even to an extent Guardians 3 or the other Guardians movies. Because like there's some gross stuff in that, but like the action choreography in, say, like the hallway fight scene in Guardians of the Galaxy 3, that works because of the choreography, not because of the fact that like some people get like some like big monsters get like their heads torn off or whatever.
Yeah. And like it is just good filmmaking on a level. Like in this Superman film, for instance, there's you think of the editing where we cut between Lex in his fucking HQ and the spoilers. Well, no, we'll be vague. The superpowered antagonist Superman is fighting, that's sort of like a kind of Lex goon, right? So it feels like you're watching Superman fight Lex, and that's like a marriage of choreography and editing. I
thought that scene was awesome. That was really
the movie would have
really
been
good.
Yeah, the movie would have been just as good if they hadn't bothered doing that. But like the fact that they really bothered with this film. They really bothered, and he really bothered, and you can feel it. I feel like even the negative reviews. I've seen some negative reviews online. I cannot understand what they're saying in these negative reviews. I haven't clicked on any. I just can't even fathom what the critiques would be. But like, even if you're gonna make critiques, I feel like you have to grant that like you can feel the care here.
Yeah, like this is not a movie where anyone was everyone was giving 110% in this. Like
even if you're over superhero cinema, this is an anti-slop movie.
Yeah, like this what was it? There was something that really stuck with me is that the most violent thing, actually that's not true. There's one other violent thing, but the most violent thing to me the most violent thing specifically that Superman ever does in this movie is he punches a guy's teeth out. And like Superman never kills anyone. Superman never like brutally like injures anyone. Superman goes out of his way to like incapacitate and then move on. Like he never is like malicious or trying to kill anyone or even considers killing anyone. There's a scene that's been talked about a lot over the internet, but where he saves a squirrel from like a giant rampaging kaiju, and like that's just peak like Superman shit, you know?
Yeah,
like that's like save a cat from a tree, help an old lady cross the street level, and I loved it. It was great.
I am, for the listeners' benefit, I am sort of withholding any kind of really original pillar of garbage points from this discussion because, hey, spoiler alert, in case it hasn't come out by now, which it probably hasn't, I'm going to do a video about this Superman movie. Actually, though, you know, I feel comfortable spoiling a minor point that I will probably end up putting in that video, which is, TSD, have you read what I gather to be one of the inspirations for this, the Superman comic, What's So Funny About Truth, Justice, and the American Way?
I've been wanting to read that forever. I know what happens in it.
So it's a one issue. Yeah. It's 40 pages. Superman comes up against this new group of kind of edgy, kind of 2000, you know, like turn of the millennium, edgy,
this is
like new age, punkish.
For listeners' benefit, this comic is what was adapted into the movie Superman vs. the Elite.
Oh, was there a movie of that? All right, yeah, cool. Well, hey, Superman versus the Elite, right? But I think it has been said at one point that it served as an inspiration for this movie.
Yeah, it was this and All-Star Superman, I believe.
And you can feel the inspiration. I reread it today. For this video I'm working on. But like one thing which I think which really speaks to this being more than just another comic book movie. I think we can say it's more than just another comic book movie. I think it's a level above that, for me at least, is there's a level of kind of thought and topicality to this. And so one thing that characterizes one of the things that annoyed me when I read this What's So Funny About Truth, Justice, in the American Way comic is it's kind of contained in the title, right? What's so funny about truth, justice? Sure, hey, you know, I'll back you up. And the American Way. Obviously, Superman fans will know that the slogan has kind of been eschewed in favor of truth, justice, and is it a brighter tomorrow? He says now, like that's
a better tomorrow. I think
that's the one. Yeah, and one conflict that's kind of set up in this comic book is Superman as truth, justice, in the American Way versus this new squad, the Elite, who are kind of, hey, they're going to kill some politicians, they're going to redraw some borders, they're going to destroy some Chinese missile bases, and they're kind of like. The writers are clearly drawing from the kind of anarchist punk types to characterize them, and then they're equating that with a sort of nihilism where it's like, well, we're the strongest, what we say goes, and we don't care about anything else. And obviously, I feel there's a sort of slippage there. I feel that's kind of I guess intellectually lazy characterization. One thing this movie does is it brings forward Clark standing up for like idealism and values and truth and justice from the comic, but it kind of swaps around some of their other beliefs. Like like the Superman of that comic book from like 2000 or whenever it was is the Superman that would have defended the Sykes-Picot line, right? He would have like stood up for the borders around the world continuing as they are now because one country invading another country is wrong. Whereas like Superman in Superman 2025 is they've kind of transferred some of that questioning spirit onto him and like his allies. Like, obviously, one of the things in the original comic which Superman condemns is the elite killing like a politician or like maiming a politician. That's something Hawkgirl does here, and we fucking love it. Like,
but yeah, minor spoiler. Hawkgirl kills some people. Yeah,
but we haven't said who the politician is, so you know. It's okay. We're still in minor
we will get into spoilers in a little bit. Just
but like, I guess, not to step on the toes of this video too much. I haven't written this part of it yet. I expect I will touch on this in it. But like, there is a sort of transference from the source material of like, this Clark has the idealism, but also he's not just like fucking US status quo, end of history shill. Like, hey, everyone's just got to settle down and not disrupt how things are and be happy. You know, stay within the lines. This Clark is like a Clark that's like, hey, we should stand up for truth, justice, and it is a brighter tomorrow. It's not a better tomorrow. It's not the American way necessarily.
Yeah,
it's what the American way should be.
Minor thing before, I think that this could be the last thing we do before we get into spoiler talk. Which is that, because this is a scene that has been released before the movie came out, and it plays in some of the trailers. One of the very first scenes in this movie is Clark as Superman is giving an interview with Lois Lane, and Lois Lane is not arguing her own positions. She's arguing like kind of a devil's advocate position of like, this is what a tough reporter would ask. These are the things a tough reporter would ask you. And Superman, before the events of the movie, interfered in a conflict. He stopped one country from invading another.
Let's say, guys, if you're avoiding spoilers, skip ahead now.
Yeah, I think so, honestly. But he before the start of the movie, he invades. He stops a country from invading another, a U.S.-backed country. Interestingly enough, and they say that he like attaches like the president to a cactus and then tells him to fuck off, essentially. And so Lois asks him like these questions of like, people are saying that you're acting as like an entity of the U.S., like the U.S. backed entity. You're acting as like a like representative of a larger foreign affairs, and Clark does not see it that way. Because his only line of reasoning, and this is interesting because he's a reporter too. He's like a seasoned reporter, so he is not like strangers to this kinds of questions. But for him, the very idea that someone like sees what he's doing as like a political act, as like a larger scale move, and not just the fact that he saw people that were in danger and he wanted to save them, that like short circuits his brain a little bit, you know, like he just can't fathom there being like a larger reason for him to do something good besides it being the right thing to do.
I think this is a really great scene, by the by.
This
fantastic
is arguably the best scene in the movie. I think.
You can like, I'm hearing the way David Corrin Sweat reads the "people were going to die" line in my head right now. Like, I think it's going to be iconic.
He says that over and over. He says like, people were going to die. That's why I did it. And like it's kind of like jarring in like a good way. Just like how much the fact that simple, like the very basic position for him in this baseline position of people should not die if like it can be prevented. Like that's like a political act, which one might definitely also one might almost to anything say, in real life.
One might almost say his position is kind of genocide bad.
Yeah, essentially.
And everyone's saying, hey, it's kind of complicated though, you know? Yeah, I think this is, obviously this movie was written a few years ago, so there are a few conflicts going on at the moment. Maybe we'll get a little deeper into this layer of it soon. Maybe we won't. I don't know. But I don't think the intention is not necessarily a one-to-one comparison with any one particular thing. But there is this interesting kind of almost like a sub story in the movie, which you know it isn't the main story. The main story is Superman and Lex Luthor and all this kind of stuff. But going kind of almost like the sub-arc that's going on with Lois and Superman stuff kind of starts off from this interview scene, and it kind of starts off we have this naive Superman, right? Or at least this Superman that the world of the film is kind of trying to characterize as naive, because he has like this basic human kind of valuing. And it's almost like the arc of this part of the movie is we start with this Superman being painted as naive because he's being told by the world that actually this isn't just an invasion, it's actually nuanced and complicated. And then by the end of the film, we kind of roll around to like,
Baratheon's
yeah,
just
okay, but it's still fucking bad. Yeah. Things can be nuanced. You can question something, and maybe it isn't necessarily as simple as people were going to die. But even if it isn't as simple as people were going to die, people were still going to die, right? And that's kind of the basic affirmation of Superman at the end of this. But yeah, I mean, bouncing on what you were saying there, I think it's pretty clearly a mashup of Russia, Ukraine plus Israel, Palestine, right?
Yeah, yeah. And like people like to say like what you were saying about the about this being written a few years ago. People are like, this was written before October 7th, 2023. First of all, we don't know that. We don't know that there were like no changes at all made to this. Like we don't know what rewrites. Second point, not a new conflict. It didn't start in
October. Yeah. I don't know if you've looked in the history books ever, but history kind of started before then.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think there is also the point that, hey, minor rewrites happen. Also, when you're shooting something, you can change how it reads. I think
and you can change like how it looks and stuff and casting.
Yeah,
and
one thing I might touch on in a future video, because I do have a video on imperialism and the Suicide Squad that I'm working on that will be out. I'm really believing it'll be out at some point this year. That's a Patreon community video, so like the patrons voted on that. I'm trying my best to get it done, but it's kind of a weighty topic. I might touch on that, on like the kind of progression, because like in a lot of ways the Suicide Squad, it kind of attempts a critique of like American imperialism and like imperialist realism, but it is a bit naive in the way it tries to do that. Like it kind of ends with all the good people in the State Department overthrowing the fucking Viola Davis, Amanda Waller character. And
it's kind of it's a precursor to this, really.
You can see there's a growth. I don't believe in trying to read too much into like writer directors' philosophies from like their movies, but like it wouldn't surprise me if, hey, maybe Gunn had read a few books between that one and this one. You know what I mean? Yeah. Maybe that was even driven by the stuff that's happened since October 2023. I don't know, but like I have seen some criticism of like people reading this as directly like a sort of liberatory Palestinian statement by people on the left. Like they're saying, hey, it's not that simple. The movie isn't necessarily pro-Palestine in that way. I don't think we should throw the baby out with the bathwater, because I think there is definitely something here. And
I think that
it isn't 100% doesn't mean it's nothing.
I think the fact that this movie is being told this way at all, I think is a huge step forward from even this earlier this year with Captain America fucking.
Oh my God. Yeah, there's not even a conversation there.
Like Captain America, from what like, obviously I'm basing off of what you and others have said about this movie. So correct me at all if I'm like off base at all. But it seems like to me, Captain America although Civil War 2 as well. Captain America Brave New World is a movie that is so profoundly apolitical that presents itself as political. And it's really, and it's apolitical in the sense that it obviously is political because it's standing for something, but it's apolitical.
It has real countries and it says nothing. And this is a movie that has fake countries and says a lot more. Yeah.
And I also think that that the entire, because we're in spoiler talk now, right? So
we're in spoiler talk.
I think that it's so like good, but also so fucking funny that Lex Luthor propelled this conflict along, specifically so that he could fight Superman, but also it just shows that like it's for his own gain as like a mega capitalist, like he doesn't give a shit about like human life in any way, shape, or form in this. He doesn't care about mass like murder. He just wants to do what is best for his, selfish goals and because he's a billionaire, he can do it. Is kind of
and
his mindset.
And secondary to that, one might turn around to that and say, well, yeah, he's Lex Luthor, he's a supervillain. That's not a big statement. But like what I would point to there is the room full of people Lex has. Compare that to the room full of people Waller has in the Suicide Squad. They're all uneasy the whole time. They're hey, maybe they're the good guys, really, you know? Whereas there's this one fucking scientist who gets cold feet after the fact in Superman. Yeah. But like, you know, fuck you. Like Mr. Terrific comes in and he's like, shut the fuck up, guy. You fucking did this. Don't try and act all high and mighty like you tried to stop it. You did nothing, bro. And
also, he gets cold feet when a fucking dimensional tear tears through Metropolis and heads directly for him. That's when he gets uneasy.
I think the involvement of the kind of Luthor Corp room actually adds this layer of like kind of almost like it suggests a critique of capital that like goes beyond just the characterization of Lex Luthor, the supervillain. Like it's subtle, but it is absolutely there, I think.
Yeah, like Lex Luthor is obviously the main attraction. First of all, Nicholas Hoult, fucking incredible in this movie.
Oh my god, I didn't even tell you what, like the mark of a good performance, either hero or villain, is that you don't even have that thought until someone says it. I didn't even think, Nicholas Hoult did a good Luthor. I was just thinking, hey, Luthor was good.
Yeah, like Nicholas Hoult fucking transforms in this. I was skeptical when he was announced because what I had seen him in was stuff like Renfield and like Nosferatu and The Menu, where he's good, but he doesn't. He plays like a kind of like, and like he's Beast in the X-Men movies. Yeah. But he's like kind of like a nerd. Oftentimes, he's usually very shy. In this, he is Lex Luthor. He just that is Lex Luthor on screen.
Is there a better on-screen Lex Luthor? I don't think there is.
Like visually,
I mean, like we could talk about Gene Hackman, giving a good performance, giving an iconic performance, but like in terms of being Lex Luthor, I don't know.
Like Nicholas Hoult, like maybe he like looks a little young than what Luthor were typically used to, but he also just like he embodies the fucking asshole that Lex Luthor is hard. And while we're on the topic of castings, I don't think there is a single bad or even just mediocre casting in this movie. Lois Lane is perfect. David Corenswet is Superman. He is Superman. He feels like if you like took a comic and you shook it, a Superman comic, and he just fell out.
I mean, even just the Daily Planet like reporters bullpen, right? You could like before any of the characters said their names, even the bit players. Like I can't even remember who's the other female reporters. What's the other female reporter's name?
Kat? Is it Kat?
Yeah, Kat something or other. Like I saw the actors they'd assembled for the bullpen, and just like from reading comics and watching cartoons and stuff, I was like, oh okay, so this is who we've got. I recognize these characters just from that.
Yeah, and there's like Steve something, and then there's Jimmy Olsen, of course, who's also great. Yeah, I love Jimmy in this.
Yeah, I mean, casting is a home run here. Casting and performances are great.
Nathan Fillion is probably the most famous, traditionally famous actor here. And he does great too as well. Like he's kind of a bit player, and he plays his bit perfectly. He doesn't just do Nathan Fillion as Guy Gardner. He's also just Guy Gardner.
Actually, I do have that's reminding me, I do have one critique of this movie. It is his haircut. I understand what they were going for. They achieved it, but even fucking still, there is no excuse for putting that on screen.
Oh, did you know that that Isabella Marcet, I think is her name, is Isabella Marcet, the lady who plays Hawk Girl. Did you know that she's Dora? She plays Dora in the live action Dora
movies. God, she's Dora.
That's that's so funny to me considering who Hawk Girl is.
Who would have thought? Yeah, who would have thought? Who would have thought that little kind of explorer would have grown up and done so much? That's crazy.
And I also loved that she was still serious the whole time, but they still let her do the hawk scream. It's little details like that.
That's the thing Gunn would do, and a director I don't know. I don't know. I'm thinking of Peyton Reed. I don't want to throw Peyton Reed under the bus.
Maybe Joss Whedon. Throw Joss Whedon under the bus. You can throw Joss Whedon under the bus.
No, Joss Whedon is the guy that would kind of do that. Joss Whedon might do it. Peyton Reed wouldn't. James Gunn would. You know what I mean?
I feel like Joss Whedon would do it, and then have another character being
someone would be like, "Wow, she got a fur ball."
She got a owl pellet. She about to
something stuck in your throat there.
Did that just happen?
Okay, so she just screamed.
I'm wearing a bow and arrow. We're fighting a bunch of aliens. None of this makes sense.
Yeah. He should be put in the device that melts rich people as well.
There's no, by the way, there's no dialogue like that in this movie. There's no like, so that just happened or anything like that. Everyone is just fully like, it's almost like comedically the opposite. Like there's a scene where towards the end of the movie where the aforementioned dimensional tear is tearing through Metropolis, and like most of the Daily Planet is like panicking and exiting out, but like Perry White, Lois Lane, Jimmy Olsen are just like calmly like sat in the middle, and they've got like a conspiracy board explaining who like all of Lex's plan, and like Perry's just like interesting, while people in the background are just like panicking, trying to get out.
It's kind of a radical credulity that kind of suffuses this. I think you could say
it's great. It's like almost. It's not quite. It's almost like magical realism, like kind of.
It's like superheroic realism. Let's fucking coin a term. Let's say it.
Yeah.
Meta-human realism.
I also thought that I also like was really kind of surprised by where this movie would go in certain ways as well. Like with I'm thinking specifically of the bit with the food vendor. Like I didn't think that they were gonna go there. When Lex like plays Russian roulette with this food vendor whose only like quote unquote crime was just helping Superman up once.
Yeah.
And so Lex like took him for that reason and put him in front of Superman to try and torture information out of Superman. Smartly, like it's crazy how Lex knows Superman well enough to know that torturing innocent people is going to be an equivalent to torturing him. But like he just like, you know, and if you haven't seen this, if you haven't seen this and you're still listening, I don't know why you're still here. But there's this scene where Lex is just like he's got this innocent guy who by the way is telling Superman not to worry about him. Is like, I have no family, which is a lie, by the way, because we know that he has family. I have no family. It's okay. Don't worry about me. And like Superman is begging Lex to not kill him, and Lex is just like calmly like asking for more information. And so then on his first round, it's a blank. And so you're set up to think like, oh, it's gonna be either 1, 2, 3, like one shot is blank, 2 shot is blank, and then the third is either going to be Superman's gonna break out and save him at the last time, or he's gonna get called away. But instead, what they do is on the second shot, he dies. Like it's the second shot is real, and like I was completely thrown off guard by that, and I thought it really did a lot to show just how ruthless this Lex was, but also it gave so much to being like this is the kind of effect that like you see the effect that it has on Superman afterwards, and it makes you just think like, you know, if this was Man of Steel, Henry Cavill, he probably wouldn't even care really.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's a very high stakes point of the movie, and I guess there has to be one point through which the stakes are introduced. This character is it. I think there has been some criticism that like tying into the kind of Middle East coded conflict that this character is sort of like a disposable sort of Arabic character. I don't know what to say on that other than shout out at Buster Corp on YouTube has put out a video that you guys should watch if you've seen Superman. Did Superman offend me? I think it's like an Arab's perspective. It's called. Is that right?
Yeah, I think so.
Check.
But it's a good video.
Yeah, did Superman offend me? One Arab's perspective. Shout out that. Go. Yeah, I enjoyed that video. I thought it was good.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that as like there's obviously that element to it, which I think is probably deserving of criticism, or at least of examination.
Or at least, examination. Yeah.
But I think that that like from a story perspective, from like a character writing perspective, it's incredibly effective.
Yeah.
So
great. Very very affecting moment. And then especially that sort of Jaws metamorpho one, you know, kind of.
Yeah, and there's like the thing is that like this is also a movie which also has like an army of rage monkeys who write hate comments about like Superman in this. That Lex has like this like a bunch of capuchin monkeys at computers like typing up hate comments. and but you never feel like there's like a what's the term I'm looking for? I know this term. It never feels like a jarring tone shift, like a tone misclash or anything. It manages to balance these really silly elements and these like pretty darkly serious moments really, really well.
Yeah.
There's no tonal whiplash is the word I was looking for.
No.
There's no like.
It's kind of all whiplash.
Yeah.
So that it's all whiplash. So there's no whiplash.
Right. Was there anything else specifically I wanted to mention? I really liked the Kents in this. I really liked Clark's
the Kents were great.
Adoptive parents.
I fucking loved the ending. I thought that was a fantastic ending.
The ending where he asks to see like videos of his parents, which in the
he's watching the iMovie slideshow.
Yeah, and that was so like tears like
yes.
I don't know if I quite cried, but I definitely like got teary eyed.
Yeah, you get a bit glassy eyed at that. I think,
and also at the bit where his father was talking to him in like the midpoint of the movie.
Yeah. Well, I think nice resting point for the Superman discussion, unless you've got anything else.
Well, there was an interesting discussion about like the change to Clark's like Kryptonian heritage, which I think is an interesting discussion because I can see like all the different sides, and I don't quite know where I fall on it. I think that for the story being told, the idea of making his parents like not necessarily evil, but like, you know, like Krypton supremacists potentially, or affecting that in some way. I think that's really interesting. I think it works for the story the movie's telling. But I've also seen some people criticism of it like muddying like the immigration allegory a little bit. I
don't think it necessarily does. I think this is a case of people looking at a story and taking every element totally literally and thinking, okay, if I match up each one of these points one-to-one to a real-world phenomenon or idea, then what does that mean for the movie? I think it more speaks to the idea of like kind of going beyond expectations or how other people like set your life out to be. I feel like that element of it is brought to the fore in the movie more than the kind of foreign culture side of it. But I don't know. I think it's very reasonable if people disagree with me there. I didn't personally find an issue with that. I thought one thing, and this is one thing I'm going to touch on in this video, is if we're talking about kind of religious parallels, the idea that it kind of brings Superman as adopted more to the fore, which I think is a good thing, and I think kind of throws it back to the Moses allegory, right? That isn't to say that fixes the kind of maybe reasonable concerns about where that places Krypton in the conversation, but I think with every negative there is a silver lining.
I also think we just don't know enough about Krypton and his parents to really make a definitive like opinion of it as well. Because I was talking with some people on the server about this, and someone brought up that they're saying this as Krypton is actively like dying, so it's probably not like the best showcase of their morality necessarily. Yeah.
And also, this Krypton is the Krypton that produces Zod. So we always know that there's some fucking crazy ideas about genetics and purity and like fascism going on in this.
But it's
Krypton
also the Krypton
so
that produces Supergirl. It's also the Krypton that produces Supergirl. And Supergirl is in this movie, and she's not like a human supremacist. Yeah,
she's not going to be a fascist, right? Yeah. So I think. Leave this for future. If you're worried about the implications of this for the universe going forward, leave that to the universe going forward to sort out. B, it isn't as though Krypton is taken from this like progressive, pure as snow setting in the past and like completely trashed. It's very much not that.
Yeah, I think that I'm really interested. I think that this might be something they touch on in Supergirl, which is coming out next year.
You'd think they'd have to.
I think that because for those of you who don't know, Kara Zor-El is Kal-El, Superman's cousin, and she was raised on Krypton. She was frozen. She was like stasis frozen while in the same at the same time Clark was sent off as a baby. So she has memories of a life on Krypton, even though physically she's younger than she's younger than Superman. She really is older than him, and has memories of what Krypton was like before it was destroyed. And so with a movie about her, I can't imagine they're not going to touch on that at least a little bit.
Yeah.
Oh, and Crypto. I can't believe we didn't talk about Crypto.
Fucking Crypto, my fucking goat, MVP of the movie.
I loved Crypto so much.
I am very pro Crypto.
He felt, yeah, Pillar of Garbage is very pro Crypto. He's a big Crypto fan.
Yes. Buy Pillar Coin.
But I thought that Crypto was great. He felt like a real dog to me, which is very hard to do with a Supergirl, super
personally
dog thing.
He didn't even feel like a real dog to me. He felt like, I mentioned earlier that I'm currently sort of dog sitting. We're looking after 2 dogs. One is my girlfriend's parents' dog, and one is my girlfriend's aunt and uncle's dog. And
yeah,
no joke. Hey, I'm a dog person. I used to have a dog when I was little. I've met a lot of dogs. I understand that they have different personalities, and that one dog yapping and acting like a dog on screen doesn't necessarily mean they're the same as any other dog. That being said, the Crypto's personality was like so fucking 1-to-1 with this dog we're looking after that like my girlfriend and I just kept like looking at each other in shock throughout the entire movie. It was fucking crazy. But
yeah, apparently that dog Crypto in this movie is based off of James Gunn's own like foster dog.
Yeah. Well, one thing that speaks to the strength of characterization in this movie is the fact that even the fucking dog is characterized. It is not just a dog type. It is like, okay, this dog acts in specific ways that is informed by the ways, clearly one or a few dogs in reality have been known to act.
And it's kind of a misbehaving dog, Yeah. Like he's kind of a little naughty. He's kind of a,
yeah.
He's not like a mascot.
Hey, he gets excited. He's just a little pup. Of course he's going to get a bit excited.
And I loved the gag at the end where like when you learn that Crypto is Kara's dog, and she does not like discipline him at all. Like,
oh my god, Superman was dog sitting too. He's just like me for real. Holy shit.
Yeah, like Crypto has been doing this thing where he like jumps up on Superman all the time, and Superman's always been like, hey, down, okay, down boy,
yeah.
Down boy. But then when Kara walks in, like Crypto jumps onto her, and she's just like, hi buddy,
yeah.
Hi buddy,
fantastic
how's it going?
Gag.
I loved that. It was great. Good movie. I liked it.
Yeah. Well, hey, good movie, good podcast segment. Shout out Pillar of Garbage on YouTube one time. He's going to have a video about this coming out soon. Hey, yeah. Maybe it's even going to be 2 videos pretending like they're one. That's a little teaser for you.
What?
Yeah. What? See, that doesn't even make any sense.
Yeah. I think about that. It's like, wait, huh?
Yeah, what?
Wow.
I'll tell you afterwards.
What?
I'll
okay.
pull the curtain back.
All right. I get to know, but you won't.
We've got time for a couple more segments, maybe. Do you want to talk about any... Do you want to try a new segment? Or do you want to do a kind of... What are you feeling? Because we've got plans. We've got plans for days.
I think we should do a bit of a work in progress segment.
Oh, okay. Right. Roll the tape.
I'm working on it. I'm working on it.
I've brought the start of a script. I've written a bit more than I will read, but this is going to be kind of like a cold open for a video. I'm going to read it here. TSD, I'd love you to tell me after you've heard it what you think the video is going to be about.
Lay it on me.
Okay. Imagine a meat cube. Not a cube of meat, to be clear. A cube for meat. Picture a towering structure, all gleaming metal and whirring machinery, recently erected in what was once a countryside, a three-dimensional carnivorous threshing floor, a vast space where beings become pulp, crushed far beyond recognition, rendered flesh, rendered meat by the cube's pummeling walls. By all accounts, they are the future. Subjects enter the meat cube, are fed to the meat cube by means of a state-of-the-art network of chutes, all of which converge on the cube but stretch far and wide. Some of the chutes' entrances poke out into workplaces, offices, publishing houses, studios. Some burst out from classroom floors. Many now have pierced homes, bedrooms, and constantly, seemingly at random, new subjects are selected, are sucked down into this network. Miles are traversed in seconds, and the unlucky subject faces a grisly end. The cube is never empty, but you shouldn't worry. The chances are rather slim you'll suffer as a result. True, they are growing. More meat cubes are being built all the while, casting new shadows over rural communities as they grow higher and higher into the sky, diverting precious resources, belching foul-smelling emissions into the air, spewing slurry and bone shards into the waterways, but still, you'll be fine. Probably.
So
I
think that's
early section of a video.
I think that's about woke. I think that's
yes,
it's about
you've got to hit the nail on the head.
No, that sounds like a very pertinent AI allegory, like allegory for generative AI. Was that correct?
Thing I'm not. You're on the money. Good to know I'm not being too wishy-washy and poetic. There is a bit more to it after that, which kind of narrows in which elements I'm trying to focus on.
That actually reminds me of That's really good, by the way. I really liked that. It was a very. Did you write that yourself?
Oh no, I just plagiarized it.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, I kind of what I did was I put into a machine on the internet, spit out. Yeah.
But that's really good. I really liked the very visceral like meat imagery. I think meat is a relatively like untapped like venue of horror. Like there's a lot
you can do with meat and like becoming meat.
Yeah, because we are all made of meat. So, But that reminds me of there was a post that someone made on, I think it was Blue Sky. I'm gonna see if I can find it real quick.
I think I might know what you're talking about.
Where someone did a job interview.
Yes.
And they were filling out like a job application thing. And one of the prompts they were given that they had to answer, which was, can you describe specific ways you have integrated AI tools into your development workflow? Please include any custom steps.
And they just like tell a little fable, right?
Yeah, they write a little fable. Hold on. It's I think it's called Monster in the Forest. I'm gonna right. Okay. Here it is. I'm gonna do my dramatic reading.
Yeah, dramatic reading time.
There is a monster in the forest, and it speaks with 1,000 voices. It will answer any question you pose it. It will offer insight to any idea. It will help you. It will thank you. It will never bid you leave. It will even tell you of the darkest arts if you know precisely how to ask. It feels no joy and no sorrow. It knows no right and no wrong. It knows not truth from lie, though it speaks them all the same. It offers its services freely to any passerby, and many will tell you they find great value in its conversation. You must simply visit the monster. I always just ask the monster. There are those who know these forests well. They will tell you that freely offered doesn't mean it has no price. For when the next traveler passes by, the monster speaks with 1,001 voices. And when you dream, you see the monster. The monster wears your face.
Yes.
Yes.
Do you know when this is from?
Let me see. The original post is from May 5th of this year.
Okay. Well, yeah, that probably was an inspiration here. I think I got the idea to do this style of opening for this video sometime in May. So I probably was thinking of that post. And can you guess, there is a YouTube video that's come out in the last few months that was also a bit of an inspiration for this style of opening.
I might not know because I've been a bit out of the loop with a lot of specific YouTube stuff. So I would say watch it if you haven't seen it because it's only short. Big Joel did a video, You Are Into Mousetrap YouTube.
Have you seen it?
What did you say it was called? It was You Are In Too Deep?
You're into Mousetrap YouTube.
Let me see. Let me look that up. Is it Big Joel?
It's a good watch. It's only like 6 minutes.
Is it, or is it?
Oh no,
Little
it's
Joel?
Big Joel. It's
Okay.
it's the biggest Joel.
Okay, the biggest
Someone
Joel.
called him Huge Joel. Yeah.
Is there a medium Joel?
I don't think there is yet. I think maybe that's room to expand. You want to leave a bit of space.
Yeah. Oh, there it is. I see it. I see it there. It's funny because it's 6 minutes. It's sandwiched in between like his like 40-minute God's
massive,
Not Dead.
Gigantic. Yeah.
And is like Mr. Beast Games one, and his Kanye West one. Yeah.
But yeah, just to finish the kind of teasing cycle, this is going to be part of a video. I've kind of I've done 2 AI videos in the past year. The first one was about the kind of business side of it, the way it displaces cost and the way it kind of appropriates and the kind of appeal of it from the line goes up poisoned guys. The second one was kind of about the political angle, the appeal to fascists and stuff like that, and the way that, a kind of theoretical analysis of the way the images work and kind of tying that in. And then this video is really going to be the kind of psychological side for of like, okay, there's the grifters, there's the fascists, but then that leaves a chunk of true believers, right? The people who think AI is going to come and usher in the new fucking paradise or disaster. This video is going to be my take on that. So expect it in the next couple of months.
If you haven't already, Pillar, a good like a resource for trying to like get like a kind of getting an insight into how people who like genuinely believe in AI think is there's this subreddit that's called r/defending AI art, or
okay,
and it's full of people who like I've seen it suggested a couple times on my Reddit thing because Reddit sucks and it suggests you things that you hate all the time. But it's suggested a couple times and it's like people like making like joke, like they're a lot of them is being like, oh, why are people making fun of us for using AI art? But a lot of people have specifically said things like they think that AI art is beautiful in its own way because it's created by something that has no concept of human understanding and it still makes something visually appealing, which I can kind of understand. I don't agree with it. I think that it's really a really dangerous mindset. But like,
I think that's just an expression of people being confused by technology. Like, I could set up a rig that just spins a brush round and creates kind of like an abstract, like splatter painting that looks kind of cool. But like, I set the machine up. I think like that is an expression of my.
Yeah, that's a good comparison. I think similarly. I just think it'd also be a really interesting like subreddit for you to browse if like you're interested in like how people like think that way.
Maybe that could be that could furnish the. I could do a Patreon exclusive next month. Maybe. Okay. I'll file that away. File that away for the thinking chamber.
Yeah. Think.
But hey, we're in the works in progress segment. Do you have anything you're working on you want to share?
So I have, obviously I have Kingscreek. I have a little bit of Kingscreek that I kind of want to share. But first I want to talk about like potential video essay thing. Because right now I am finished writing season 1 of Kingscreek. Like it's all done. Yeah. Like I've written every script. I've had it checked over. Like that part's all done. So I haven't written anything in a while. So before I start work on writing season 2, which is gonna happen relatively soon, I've got a little bit of downtime in between. I was thinking about writing a video essay, and I wanted to write about Deltarune. It's the thing I've been talking about. But specifically, there's a character in Deltarune who really struck me on like an emotional level in a way I wasn't quite expecting. There's a character in the most recent chapter who is like a kind of XP of the old like crazy mentor trope. Like he's an old he's literally just referred to as the old man, and like he like if you can think of someone you're thinking of, it's that guy. Like it's Yoda, it's Master Oogway, it's Mr. Miyagi, it's all of them like rolled into one.
It's the dude who gives Link the wooden sword.
Yeah, he's that guy. But something that really struck me is that like he is also genuinely just a really, really good teacher. Like in the context of the storyline, he fosters the development of a character who is characterized as not doing very well in school and also feeling very lonely. And she has immense self-worth issues, and this guy, like, it's kind of incredible how this guy and her like have a direct bond, and he helps her so much in a very short amount of time just by treating her treating her like a person who's worth teaching. And that's something that she's never really experienced before. And it really got me. A lot of things in this game get me, but that in particular really stuck with me. And I kind of want to do something like with that. I want to talk about that a little bit, because a lot of discussion around this game has been focused on like theorizing what's going to happen next, and like, what's the general thought.
Yeah, and that's always fun. But
yeah. And thematic discussion is there too, but it's themes. It's like big themes. Like I talked to you a little bit last episode about like the prophecy and what that means for like autonomy and whatnot. And that's an interesting discussion, but I don't feel like enough people talk about specifically this character, and I want to talk about him more. Well,
I mean, that's always the heart of a good project, is when you realize you like something, and then you realize there's a feeling kind of beyond just like that you can't maybe express right away, but you want to try and get to the heart of.
Yeah. So, and honestly, and I might have backed myself into a corner here because I haven't committed to making that video yet. I probably will make it.
Yeah.
But I think that if I do make a video before I start working on Kingscreek again, that's what I'll make.
I mean, that's the best way to do it, though, because if you commit to the video and then you start writing it and you realize there isn't all that much there, then you've just got to make a bad video. Whereas if you do it your way around, do a little bit of exploring, maybe there's a seed there that will grow into a beautiful tree whose shade all our our generation's children will one day collectively sit under.
Yeah. And hopefully I'll been able to force you to play the game by that point so you can appreciate the video.
Yeah,
too.
Maybe. The podcast will be fully grown at that point.
Yeah. But the other thing I wanted to share is from Kingscreek. There's an episode of Kingscreek that I actually originally, when I first wrote it, it was episode 4. So I wrote it like right at the beginning of when I was working on it. But from Kai James, my producer, Kai After Kai / James Makepeace, the a person of many names.
Prolific individual.
Yeah, they suggested when I first did it that this was good, but I should save it for later in the season, like significantly later in the season, because it kind of represented a almost like escalation in stakes and like tone.
And you don't want to get to that too fast.
Yeah. And I agreed. And so then we did it. And now this episode is almost completely done. We've recorded it, we've edited it. Kai has done the score for it. So it's pretty much in the can outside of some minor things. But I wanted to read you a little bit of it. That I think probably in post I'll just add the actual episode clip.
Yeah. Okay.
But
sure.
I'll read it to you here. Just like the first, I'll just read like a page of it. Today's story is one that caught my interest back when I first found this old archive. It's been sitting in the back of my mind ever since I first read it, and I've been looking forward to reading on the podcast ever since. I would have hoped that I'd have found a name for this show by then, but what can you do? Today's file, Case B67, Lunar Psychiatric Effects, concerns the disappearance of one Clayton George, 17. He was a high school student at the time and, to put it plainly, a bit of a nerd. Made the honor roll 3 times in a row, voted most likely to become a NASA researcher, and the head of the astronomy club over at Sorensen High. You get the gist. He also lived on Gossamer Lane, interestingly enough. He went missing in May 1990, just about a week before the high school science fair. There were no leads, no indications of where he might have gone. Nothing. It was like he had just disappeared into thin air. This is really surprising, considering the crime scene he left behind and that last known sighting, which I'll get to. Outside of that, the only real piece of evidence in the case with any kind of meat to it is George's science report. In the days before his disappearance, he was working on a project for the previously mentioned science fair, something to do with the phases of the moon. I don't fully understand what the experiment was meant to be, but it does paint a picture of what was going through George's mind before he went missing. Report begins. May 16th, 1990. Introductory statement. The moon and its phases are an important fixture in our culture and in the natural world. As such, there have been many myths, legends, and old wives' tales surrounding it, some of which persist to the modern day. One of these myths is the idea that the lunar phases affect the mental state via some kind of misunderstanding of tides. Supposedly, the idea goes that the moon affects water through tides, and since the human brain is 70% water, then the moon's gravity would affect that water and make people act strangely. In fact, this is where the terms lunacy and lunatic come from. Now, to the untrained, unscientific mind, this seems perfectly logical, but it is obviously not true. I intend to disprove this idea with a simple application of the scientific method. Over the next few nights, I'll be conducting 30-minute sessions of prolonged exposure to the moon's quote-unquote effects. I'll note the phase of the moon and then describe my emotional state to the best of my ability. To make sure I don't exacerbate the supposed effects, I won't be using my telescope. It should be a fun way to spend the next few nights. That's all you're getting for now.
Oh, that's the preview. Okay.
Yeah.
Getting a little bit cosmic with stuff. We're getting into the phases of the moon. That's a good hooky intro. I like that.
Yeah, I didn't want to get into the actual meat of anything because I'm
presuming there's a secondary wrinkle there that we'll find out. We'll go on to be introduced to.
No, he just looks at the moon.
Yeah, all right.
And then it's
he's kind of a.
But this I kind of wanted to talk about it a little bit as well, is because this whole story, there's a whole lot more to this story, obviously. This should be episode, I want to say 12, when it releases. So it should release fairly soon after the mid-season break ends. But it was inspired specifically by one night I was walking outside and I looked up at the moon and I was like suddenly struck with this like
dread.
This dread, just thinking about the fact that this, because like when I realized it, I looked at it, I didn't see it as a fixture in the sky. I saw it for what it is, which is a massive thing that is just like hovering above our head,
just suspended.
It's
fucked up. It's fucked up is what it is.
It's like you think about it, like how unfathomably big it is, and it's just like this little spot, and I can see the whole thing, and like it's kind of terrifying to think that that's just
honestly
like,
for the longest thing I had that about like looking up when it was a starry night, and it's like, okay, like this is pretty, but what if I'm looking at this star and then it just starts getting bigger and bigger?
Exactly. I thought about if the moon started
I think that'll
bigger,
resonate with a lot of people. Yeah, and like that's just like I've had nightmares like that.
Like I think that the story as it ends up goes in a slightly different direction than that, but that was the initial feeling that provoked this. Like I want to write something about the moon.
And if you can tap into that sort of like the okay, but what if this like cosmic kind of harmony we all balance in is kind of like disrupted? Like that's an instantly terrifying premise.
Very interesting that you used the word harmony, I think.
Okay.
But yeah,
jot that one down for later, listeners.
Yeah, it's I really like this is one of my favorite episodes that I've written for the season. I think it's this one, episode 9, which is the brother-in-law one. Which, if you know, you know.
Yeah. You know.
And I think probably episode 5, which is the one where there's a lot of rain. I talked about that one a little bit. But also some like later episodes that are like I can't get into because spoiler stuff. But like there are a few standouts this season, and this is one of them to me.
Yeah, well, sounds good. Sounds like a good opening. I'm sure the viewers / listeners kind of on board as well. Do you have like a rough window you're aiming to get the second half of the season rolling in?
Well, what we're hoping for, what my goal is to get it releasing in September. I want to. Autumn
is a good season for a spooky podcast.
Yeah, that's part of it, but also just like I don't want to wait too long. We finished up the first half in June. I think that like a 3-month long break is honestly kind of pushing it.
Yeah, I can see that.
And like it doesn't take super long to get done. Like we're almost fully recorded. We just need to record a little bit of 18, 19, and 20. Those we just need to get all those done and edited so far we're fully edited up to like 15. And we're fully scored up to 12. So honestly, it's just at this point we're just like we just got to grind it out a little bit.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you'll be thankful for that when it starts rolling out.
Yeah, I'm really excited. We're definitely going to take a bit of a break. We James and I, Kai and I, back and forth. We had a Zoom call, Discord call a couple days ago where we just like hashed out everything we wanted to do for season 2 and some of the broader strokes of season 3. So we know where we're going after this. But we're going to take a break once we finish up season 1, because this has been almost a year of our lives working on this.
Yeah.
And we want to have like a little bit of a break before we start moving on to the next one. Kai said specifically that they're going to change up how they do music for this, because like the music has been incredible, but they're not sure it's fully sustainable to do like a completely unique score for each episode going forward. So
I think that's entirely fair enough. As someone who loves the score, but also who appreciates A, how much work it is recording content, and B, how finicky it can be to get music sounding right. When you've recorded it, I think I speak for all Kingscreek listeners when I say, do whatever's sustainable. It's going to be good either way.
Yeah, I'm hoping to have the whole show done by like 2028, maybe 2029.
Yeah. Like that's just the 1 or 2 years before Elder Scrolls 6 comes out.
Yeah.
That's a little joke for the Elder Scrolls fans in the audience.
Yeah. Just a little bit, and just one more, just like a year before Silksong finally releases.
Yes.
But yeah, that's pretty much all I have for my works in progress.
Well, I think we did a good works in progress segment. Hey, a viewer, if you're listening to this on a platform where you get a little comment section, let us know what you thought of the new segment. But we can probably move ahead.
Yeah. What do we want to move on? Do we want to do like?
We could do a 1 or 2 questions, or we could do a little bit of platform discourse. What's your preference?
I think we should do some questions, because we haven't done questions.
Let's do a couple of questions. Yeah.
All right.
What is your favorite superhero? How long is a piece of string? Where do we go when we die? Why won't my son talk to me anymore? Questions.
A short one from Buster. Hey fellas, what's your opinion on fighting games?
I think fighting games, personally, I think they're good fun. Fighting games is one of those genres where like it feels like the possibility offered outside of any. It feels like the fighting game as like a platonic ideal is fantastic, but how often do you find yourself in a situation where you can sit down with someone who's equally committed to the fighting game and really like learn the combos? You know what I mean?
Yeah, and honestly, I don't know. I just feel like fighting games kind of take a lot of like dedication to like really start to have fun with them, Like, yeah, it kind of like, especially if you're going to try and play online. I feel similarly about like a lot of multiplayer games, is that it's like this, depending on the game, the skills-based matchmaking can be pretty finicky. So you might like try it out and you'd be like, oh, this is fun, I want to try this out. And then you just get matched with someone who's like been playing this game nonstop for the last 3 years, and you just get pummeled to dust instantly, and you're like, I'm not really having fun doing this. So if you don't have someone you can play through.
I don't feel that so much just because I play CS, which is like that, but as a 3D FPS.
Yeah.
I really like it when a game has a high skill ceiling, even if it is like a brick wall when you run into it for the first time.
I like it when a game has a high skill ceiling but a low skill floor, if that makes sense.
What do you mean, do you mean like a higher skill floor, like where you don't necessarily start from being a complete useless imbecile?
Right. Like, I guess what I mean is that like it's easy to learn how to be pretty good, but it takes a lot of dedication to become like really good. Like, I like being able to get like that first bit of like, you know, you're all right at it. Like, that can be pretty easy, but like getting to like a really high skill set can be like a lot of dedication, how much ever dedication you want to put into it. I really like that kind of thing because it gives you enough to not feel like you're completely lost and floundering and discourage you, but like you still have a drive to get better.
I think the only fighting game I've put a lot of hours into personally is like Super Smash Brothers. Have you played Super Smash Brothers at all?
I played it's gonna be interesting to see how like Nintendo fans react to this, but the only Smash Brothers I've ever played is Brawl.
Same. That's the one. I mean, I've played a bit of the newer one, but I'm a Brawl boy as well. Who was your main?
I think Meta Knight. I think it was Meta Knight.
Oh shit, okay. Oh yeah, you picked the OP character. Yeah, sure.
That's probably why, because I was just really bad at it. So I was Meta Knight, or I was what's the name of the dragon from Metroid, like the dragon looking thing? It's like Ridley.
Ridley is the big giant guy. Yeah,
Ridley. I liked Ridley because I liked that he looked like a dragon, and I thought that looks cool. I never played any Metroid games, but I liked that part.
I was always Lucario, Link, or Kirby. I was pretty good at playing one of those three fellas.
I played Lucario and Kirby a little bit. I think I defaulted to Meta Knight a lot because
there's nothing more satisfying than because Lucario's thing is his like aura sphere attack gets more powerful as he gets more damaged, and there's nothing more powerful than like taking a bunch of licks and charging one up, and the guy is just about to finish you off, and then you just send them flying. So yeah, that's my opinion on fighting games.
Yeah,
you know, be the Lucario, don't be the other guy.
Yeah, that's a good opinion. All right,
shout out actually Star Wars Episode 3, the PS2 game. That's like a really out of pocket pick. I'd be super interested to hear if any listeners had ever played that, because that was like, 20 years ago we're talking, and it was. But shout out that game.
All right, jumping a little bit further back. Okay, here's one from Ein. This one's like a year ago, so this is a pretty long one, a pretty long time ago. What kind of elf would you be? Example: Christmas, fantasy, Me Lucky Charms, etc.
Okay.
First of all, I'm gonna add a caveat to this. Leprechauns are not elves. Okay, let's get this out of the way. They're fae.
They're just small,
but they're not
fellas.
Elves. They're different. I think you might be thinking of the Keebler elves. The Keebler elves are different from Lucky the Leprechaun. Okay, let's not get too silly here.
Yeah, leprechauns are just kind of short kings who have trust funds, really.
Yeah, I'm not just saying that because I would be typecasted as Lucky Leprechaun just because I'm got red hair.
But you're quite a tall fella. I don't think you would be the leprechaun.
Yeah, like people ask me and my family, they say like, oh, it's St. Patrick's Day. Where's your pot of gold? And like, it's crazy that they ask me because like they'll never find me pot of gold. They'll never find me pot of gold.
TSD, I think you would be cast as like it's kind of a gag, right? The characters go and find the leprechaun, and then they find the leprechaun, and he's really fucking tall. You would be that leprechaun. Yeah,
I think that'd be good.
They should make that movie.
I would be in that movie. I would do that.
Yeah.
I guess I kind of want to say like a fantasy elf, but I feel like fantasy elves are also like huge jackasses a lot of the time. So, like, I don't know if I want to be a fantasy elf. Like maybe, but also at the same time, Christmas elves sometimes like there's no union situation there, or like the workplace is potentially unsettling.
Oh yeah, it's a little bit dicey. Yeah, you don't have a strong union, really.
Yeah. What about you? What are your thoughts on that?
I do have an answer that's kind of almost like a reappearance of the previous segment. I'm gonna say I'm gonna be an Elder Scrolls dark elf, and what that means, right? This is a little bit of a pulling the curtain back itself. I'm working on a script at the moment for a really fucking in-depth revisiting of the Star Wars Acolyte TV show, right?
Yeah.
One fun thing, because, because I live in an asylum, because my world is dark and twisted, and because I'm kind of a little bit crazy, I've decided what better thing to put in the middle of this Star Wars The Acolyte video essay than kind of a like 10-15 minute video essay on Morrowind, the Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind, the game from 2002. So that's kind of in there. That's a little bit of a sneak preview for the podcast listeners. I'm very excited about that. I think it's some of the best writing I've done recently. And yeah, it kind of orbits the Dark Elves, the Dunmer, the race that was born as here's a little bit of a backstory for the Dark Elves in Elder Scrolls. They used to be regular elves. They used to be called the Chimer, but then there was some shenanigans that went on. They kind of betrayed their god, and then they got cursed, and now they're Dark Elves. We don't really talk about that in the video, but that's a little bit of backstory, you know? Hey, go and play Morrowind. Go and play Morrowind so you're clued up for the video on the Acolyte.
It's good to study for your acolyte lore.
Yes.
That's I guess then I don't really know the answer to the question because I feel like there's a lot of drawbacks to every answer. Maybe
don't be an elf. Don't be a Witcher elf at least.
Yeah. Maybe I'd be like I feel like I might be like an elf in like Lord of the Rings. Where like, but I'm not like a cool elf like Legolas. I'm like one of the elves.
You're just one of the guys in the back row. Yeah.
Yeah, I like hang out in Rivendell and like maybe when like the battle at the end when all the elves show up, I might be there, but I don't know if I'd be like a type main character type elf.
Do you want to hear a fun fact about Lord of the Rings elves?
I'm always ready for a fun fact on Lord of the Rings elves.
So it's not like in story canon. Like this isn't like something that happens in Lord of the Rings. This is kind of the writings of J.R.R. Tolkien level of canon, kind of word of God thing. So maybe take it as more speculative from the point of view of the author than anything definitive. But it's kind of soft canon that like elves are kind of what's the phrase? Kind of one pump champs. You know, they don't last so long when they're doing kind of grown up elf activities. I just thought that would be a fun thing to throw in the mix. Like J.R.R. Tolkien was his point of view on this was basically the elves are going to be so good at getting down and dirty elf style that it's probably not going to last very long.
Interesting.
Yeah,
that is a very interesting.
Because when I'm watching Lord of the Rings, I kind of want to picture Legolas in the throes of passion, and I kind of want to picture that really lasting like maybe 30 seconds.
I really like. I think you have such a way of with words when describing this. You know, in the throes of passion. I think you've got. I think you're good at it.
Well, maybe that's a bit of a maybe it's a bit of a misnomer from me because I don't know if we would have had time to get into the kind of throes of passion. I've just Googled this. I've seen a website headline on winteriscoming.net. J.R.R.
On winter is what?
Describes the
winter is what?
Winter is, oh shit, hell yeah. Winter must be the name of an elf. J.R.R. Tolkien describes the, quote, intensity, end quote, of elf sex. So you guys can look that one up at home. It's canon that elves are heterosexual, have low libidos, and never practice any sexual act before or outside of marriage. Now we understand why Legolas was so frustrated the whole time.
Yeah, that's no fun. Being an elf is no fun. Is my kind of takeaway from it. In no matter what universe, elves are never having a good time. It seems like.
Yeah. Work all day for the boss. Get home. Have your 20 seconds in the bedroom. And conk out for the night.
All right. Do we want to do one more, and then I think we'll be good?
I think we can get it. We can rapid fire one more off. Yeah.
This one's kind of a long one, but it's I think relatively simple. Despite its length, so I'll just throw it out there. From Esri. Hi, as a recent fan of the podcast, I've been listening through the previous episodes, and TSD talking about Gravity Falls, that's how you know this question is old, had me thinking about endings and how many shows feel like they fumble their endings or go on after a perfect ending. I feel like a prime example of this is The Simpsons with Holidays of Future Past, Season 23, Episode 9, which seems like it would be a decent heartfelt ending to a show that had gone on for far too long. Are there any other examples that you can think of? Sorry if that question is poorly worded, I did write it at 1 a.m.
I mean, the obvious one is Futurama, right?
Yeah.
Have you seen any of the new seasons?
I haven't seen any of the new seasons. I haven't even seen most of the old seasons, but I know what you're talking about. It's like it's ended like 3 times, right?
Yeah, and like a good 2 of those were great endings. Probably 3 of them, to be honest. I haven't even. The new seasons are like, okay, there's an amount of entertainment to be mined from this if you're a big Futurama fan, but it's kind of like, I think it's getting to where Zombie Simpsons was in maybe the 20s of their seasons, where it's kind of the returns aren't so much diminishing as they are
diminished,
almost in the negative. Yeah.
That makes sense. I think that it would be tempting to say like the ending of season 3 of Community. It'd be tempting to say that. I wouldn't say that personally.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that either. I think season 6 is a banger. But
I think season 6 is a great ending.
It is season 3's ending is great as well.
I feel like the show could have ended with season 3 and it would be considered like one of the greatest shows of all time still.
It would have been like people would have brought it up with like Firefly and stuff in terms of things that got cancelled too soon. It's like one side of the coin is, oh, this show fell off, it went on way too long. The other side of the coin is, oh, we never got a chance to see what this show could be. Like maybe a show that we remember as having a great ending that could have been so much more would have just fallen off afterwards.
Yeah, honestly, I saw someone write a think piece about that with Firefly specifically. They said like this is I feel like Firefly probably wouldn't have stayed as good as it was for more than like a couple seasons. This is not my opinion. I have no opinions on Firefly. I've watched very little of it, so I can't say anything about it. But I do know Joss Whedon, and I know Joss Whedon's writing style, and I've watched all of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and I can kind of see where they're coming from with that.
Yeah,
because I don't think there's a bad season of Buffy and the Vampire Slayer, but they definitely was starting to like lose it a little bit towards the end.
Yeah, there is a trajectory. I'll tell you what, one thing this question's got me thinking is I'm on board with it to a point, but then I think how much of this line of thinking, which obviously is so much bigger than the questioner themselves, it's kind of a very common line of thinking all across the internet. How much of this line of thinking comes down to our sort of modern desire to sort of categorize and sort of, what's that film app everyone likes? Like the Goodreads
Letterboxd?
film. Yeah, it's how much of this comes down to the sort of desire to like give everything a letterboxd rating, right? Do you see what I'm driving at?
I think that it's kind of weird. It's kind of a weird like intersection because like I will admit I'm biased. I like Letterboxd. I see where you're coming from and I see the issues, but I do like it as like an app experience.
I'm kind of thinking it would be a really boring world if every TV show ended at its best ending point. You know, sometimes things are sloppy, sometimes things are boring, and sometimes things get bad. That's kind of. I think
that it makes the shows that do end in a really great way more special that way. Yeah. But like I honestly can't think of a lot of shows. Maybe this is just because like I kind of just fall off of shows that I don't find interesting. Like I don't keep watching them. Like the only show that I can think of that I've kind of dropped for being too long is that I did drop Rick and Morty after like season 5, which I know I've heard season 6 and 7 are better. I might get back into it.
Season 5 is the low point. Season 7 was really good, I think.
Season 5 was pretty rough.
Season 5 was pretty bad. I'm with you.
But I mostly think of like shows that like are cut off too soon mostly, and that is a very common story nowadays. Like I've talked about Inside Job before, but honestly, even like a show like interestingly enough, like a show like BoJack Horseman, I feel like was cut off too early, and that show has 6 seasons. So like that's like I'm not saying that like lightly. I think that BoJack Horseman's ending is really good. I think they do have a really good ending. But you can tell they were thinking of like another season's worth of stuff. Yeah, like I feel like BoJack Horseman would have been a show that I think could have been perfect with like I think it's a really really good right now. I think it could have been perfect with like 8 seasons. Like just a little bit more. Just like give it a little bit more room. But this was around the time that Netflix started really cracking down on like canceling every animated show that wasn't Big Mouth. So, and
that's the thing. Like, it's very easy to look back at a show and say this is where it should have ended. It should have had this much more. It must be so much harder to be in the kind of source of it and be able to call it at the quote unquote best moment.
Yeah, and that's the thing, right? Is that like this question mentions Gravity Falls specifically. If you listen to Alex Hirsch, the creator of Gravity Falls, talk about it, he wasn't even sure he was going to do season 2, because like he wasn't sure that season 1 was good enough, or like was good enough for the effort he had to put into it. He wasn't sure how he felt about it, but then he saw like the reactions people were giving it, and he's like, okay, I'll do one more. We'll do one more season. And so it, like, from the inside in, it's very difficult to figure out how, like, you know, it's not impossible, obviously, but it is difficult to kind of figure out like where the best stopping point is. And that's kind of like with this show, with my show, I went in with like a set number of how many seasons I want to do, so that I could have like a thing that I could hopefully try to shape the story so that feels proportional, if that makes sense.
Yeah. No, yeah, I hear what you're saying. It's always like, as part of this discussion comes down to the fact that so many of the shows we're talking about, it's the kind of model where more seasons means more financial stability. So like you want it to carry on. Whereas if it's a purely artistic project, like something like Kingscreek, being able to set the bounds at the start is maybe a more helpful thing.
Yeah, and like there's also like shows like I'm watching through It's Always Sunny with Philadelphia. That show has been running for like 20 years at this point, and I think people are of a varied opinions of whether or not that's a good thing or not. But I think it's interesting that it's not like The Simpsons, where almost everyone agrees like it should have been canceled a long time ago. Like everyone except like, you know, people who make money off of it still. But like interestingly enough, It's Always Sunny feels like a show that, like, as I've watched it, I could conceivably see it being a show that goes on for a long time, because there's not really like a story structure. It's, you know, it's a sitcom. There's like, it's very much based off of it, and a lot of the humor is based off the fact that these terrible, terrible people never learn from their mistakes. So I can definitely see that like being mined for comedy for like years and years and years after the point I'm at. I'm in like season 6 for reference for anyone who's seen it.
But hey, actually, speaking of shows that go on too long, I have a hard out for today, and it's come right around. So I'm gonna have to call this one early. Oh no, maybe this podcast should have carried on a little bit longer. But you know,
we'll never know.
End while it's good. End on a high. Thanks everyone for listening today. You can follow TSD on YouTube, TSD Talks 22. You can follow his podcast, Kingscreek, which is going to be starting again in a couple of months. That's on Spotify and all podcast streaming platforms. You know what
and the first 10 episodes are out now.
To this.
You can listen to the first 10 episodes now. Like, that we're releasing more later, but there are 10 episodes fully complete, and I think they're all good, and people seem to like them. So, you know.
Yeah. Obviously, you probably, I guess you probably know that I'm on YouTube. Pledge your fealty to me on Patreon, or I will strike you down. Yeah, fucking thanks for listening. Catch you on the flip side, baby.
See you guys all around. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.